Hi guys, so I've just renewed my Rwandan visa, my residency permit. This is something I have to do every 2 years. So every 2 years I do a little bit of an update so that if you're living in Rwanda and you also need to go and do this, you know how. So I'm going to start off by showing you how to make the application online, and then I'll show you what happens when you go to collect it. You renew your visa through irembo. Switch to English in the top right. Here, residency visas actually come under permits, so start typing permit and it should show up below. You can make a first-time application, but I'm going to renew. You get some details about how long it's going to take and you just hit apply. Just before we start the application process, you are going to need all of these documents. Top tip from my friend Chantel: before doing anything else, upload a working passport photo. The reason for this is that if your photo is rejected, you sometimes have to refresh the page before uploading a new one, and this wipes all of your other data, forcing you to restart your application from scratch. So to avoid that, make sure that your photograph works before you do anything else. Here's my tips and tricks for getting a working photo. I'll leave all the links below. 1. Take a photograph. 2. Use Canva to create a template exactly the right size. 3. Use Canva or Remove BG to remove the background of your picture. This gives you the required white backing. 4. Position yourself in the middle with clear space above your head. 5. Save the image as a JPEG and upload to irembo. One of the most common reasons pictures get rejected is that your face is too large and there isn't enough space above your head. So just lower your head a bit until your eyes are in the middle. It took me several attempts to figure out what the problem was. Once you have a photo that's been accepted, you can continue with the rest of the application. Start by filling out your details. The tricky part is often your exact address. You will need to know your province, district, sector, cell and village. This is not something many foreigners know by heart, so check if it's on your rental agreement or contact your landlord. After that, you need to select your permit type. If you're renewing, it's whatever your last visa was. Then fill out your passport details and any dependent information. I don't have any dependents, so I'm skipping over this bit. Once you've filled everything in, hit next and check through your details carefully. If everything looks right, scroll down, check phone or email for how you want to be updated about your application, check that you have provided the correct information, and hit submit. You'll then be taken to the payment page with a payment ID. It's a good idea to screenshot this, even though you'll receive an update with it on later. Just an extra precaution. The fee for a standard visa is currently 150,000 francs, which is around $110, 105 euros, or £85. This fee will be kept regardless of whether you get a 1 or 2 year permit, or even if it's rejected. You can choose to pay by mobile money with MTN or Airtel, card, cash, or bank transfer with Bank of Kigali or I&M Bank. I'd suggest Momo or card is the simplest and most immediate method. After hitting pay, the system totally glitched out on me and sent me back to the beginning rather than a submission received page. But within 20 minutes, I received confirmation by text message. And the very next day, I got approval confirmation and a collection date for the next working day. So that was absolutely incredible that I applied on, I think, the Thursday, and I got notification of approval the very next day, and the following working day I could go and collect it. That was really, really impressive because over the past couple of decades, the time has fluctuated greatly from a few days to a few weeks, in some cases a few months. So now it seems to be fairly consistently fast. And I'm not sure if this is across the board or if it's for long-term expats. So people who have been living as residents in Rwanda for quite a long time. I wonder if they kind of just get to this point where they think, nah, if they were going to be trouble, if we were going to have to deport them, we would have done it by now. So I don't know. Let me know if you're here as a resident and you haven't been here for very many years. Let me know if you're also getting this fast service. So that was really impressive. I think you'd be hard pressed to find any other country that is processing visas that quickly and that cheaply. I think that's pretty amazing. Morning guys, so I'm off to immigration today to pick up my new visa in my new passport. So the one behind is my red EU passport, and since the UK did what it did, I've now got a British blue passport, so I'm going to go get my first visa in my new passport. I think I'm going to take a public motor there because they've changed the layout. So before you went in the front and down to the car park, and now you go in the back, but I'm not entirely sure about the parking situation, so I think I'll just take a public motor and walk up there, and I'll let you know what the parking situation is when I do. The other exciting thing is I don't actually know if it's 1 year or 2 years, so you know, you apply and you get this message saying it's been approved, come along, but there have been times in the past where they've given me 1 year instead of the 2 years, and then it went back up to 2. And I think the reason is because I always get a Z2 visa, which is an entrepreneur business visa. And then 1 year they issued a G2, and I'm not entirely sure what a G2 visa is, but I question it, said, why has it changed? And they, of course it's immigration, so they don't answer any questions. They just say it is what it is. And I think the problem is because they accidentally issued me the wrong visa, it completely reset my visa. So it was like getting a visa for the first time. So they gave me 1 year, then I had to go back, and they gave me another 1 year, and then I had to go back. And then they gave me 2 years again, which is kind of difficult for me because my visa renewal is in December. So if I want to go home for Christmas, it makes it tricky because I have to stick around and deal with the renewal. So yeah, anyway, it's now gone back up to 2 years for the past year or two. But I don't know, you never know. It's always a fascinating surprise when you get there to find out what you've got. So let's go find out. Okay guys, so if you're coming round the back of immigration nowadays by motor, by public motor, they're going to park up just round the back. There's loads and loads of motors, so it's not a problem. And then you're just going to walk up this path here to the blue building at the top. So I can confirm that there's a car park. It used to be that you came down Embassy Row here and you turned right into immigration, but now continue along to this roundabout, which is in front of the American Embassy, and you're turning right at the roundabout and immediately right again. So along KG 567, and then you can just hop into the car park at the back of immigration. So from the street view, the American Embassy is here, that's the roundabout, and you're coming straight off the roundabout and down this road here. And if you continue along this road, you'll get to the immigration car park here. So down there is where I was with the motos, and I walked up this little street here and into immigration. Come straight ahead first and go through security. So after you've been through security, you're coming down here. So just to explain, when you go inside, this is the only part of the process. It is actually quite difficult. Like the online application, really easy now, but going to collect the passport is not. And I have the exact same complaint this year that I had last time around, is when you walk into immigration, there is nothing to tell you what you should do. So you turn up with your passport to get your visa put in there, and you're given this time to turn up, which doesn't seem to mean anything because everybody's given the same time to turn up. So you walk in and there's a room full of people, and across the back wall are now screens, and the screens tell you who can apply for a visa and how to apply for a visa, which doesn't help you because you're there to collect your visa. So you've already done all of that. You don't need that information. Now, last time around, or the time before that, they had a ticket machine, but now there is no ticket machine. So you turn up and there's just loads of people in there and you don't know what to do, and nobody will tell you what you're supposed to do. So, I mean, I've always said this, the back of immigration has a massive wall, and all they need to do is to put up a banner saying, take a seat, wait for somebody to collect your passport, wait for the passport to be returned. That's all they need, is a sign on the wall clearly stating what you're supposed to do. So I raised this irritation once in a forum, and a Rwandan lady got back to me and she said, yes, but it's not really Rwandan culture to have lots of signposts. You know, in Rwanda, Rwandans go and they ask each other what you're supposed to do. And whereas I appreciate that, the thing about immigration is it's not somewhere that Rwandan people go. It's somewhere that foreigners go. And foreigners need to know what they're supposed to do. It's no good asking anybody else sitting in immigration because nobody else knows either. So basically, what happened last time I did this is I sat down as confused as everybody else, and within about 15 minutes, a guy came out of a door and he walked around and he collected up people's passports and he took them into the back room, they processed them, and about another 20 minutes later, they came back out and they started calling out the names of the passports, and you went up, you signed for it and you took it. This time around, it was a little bit less efficient than that, because I went in and I sat down and I was sitting for a good 20 odd minutes. And, you know, nobody sitting at the desk said, oh, you know, we'll take your passports. This time, nobody came out. I was waiting for somebody to come and collect the passports and nobody came out. So after about 20 minutes, a guy came in through the door and he sort of hesitantly went up to offer his passport at the desk, and the lady at the desk took his passport. So then I went up and I did the same. But nobody called out, nobody came to collect, there's no signpost to tell you what you're supposed to do. And this time around, after they'd taken my passport, I was sitting in immigration for a total of an hour. I was just nobody came out to talk to us. Nothing really happened. I was just sitting there for an hour. So as much as I would like to use this video to tell you exactly what you're supposed to do, I'm still not entirely sure. I think the best thing to do when you go in is to sort of do what this guy did and hesitantly go up towards the desk and see what the lady at the desk does, because she might take your passport or she will tell you to go and take a seat. So just do one of those two things. And if you're sitting down waiting, hopefully there will come a time when they call for passport collection, or maybe somebody will come out and collect up the passports. And then once they've taken your passport, you just stay there, you wait. And then anywhere from about 20 minutes to 40 minutes, somebody will come out and they'll start handing out those passports again. And then you sign for it and you take it and you're done. So I wish I had a clearer way forward. I wish they had a signpost that clearly stated what you're supposed to do, but they never have. And it will be interesting to see if this time in 2 years it's improved or not. But yes. They used to drive through this bit, but they've erected a memorial. Just made it home. Took a motor ride in the pouring rain, but I have got the full 2 years again, so yeah, let's see if I can keep hold of it. Hello Rwandan cat, how do you feel about living here for another 2 years? Yeah? Yeah. He's a little girl, he's a little girl, yeah. Hello. Hello, boy one. Yeah. I've got a toy octopus here. That's about the right weather, isn't it? So that's the end of the video. If you found it useful, if it's helped you in any way, you can now buy me a coffee. I'll leave a link down at the bottom of the video description. And it's just a way to keep me caffeinated so that I can continue to produce videos and sit in immigration lines. Let me know what your experience has been, if I've missed anything out, or if you've had a different experience, let me know below.